Hello, Chanelle. How's everything?
Hi, I'm doing well.
Let's start off how it all began for you. You were born in northern New Jersey, in Livingston, New Jersey, but you grew up in Easton, Pennsylvania. Now, growing up in Easton, was track and field something big, or was this something that you gravitated towards a little bit later on in life?
I would say I didn't necessarily want to run track. My parents involved my brother and I in a ton of sports growing up. I danced from the age of 3, and then slowly after that picked up soccer, basketball, tennis. Track, I did it sometimes, but it was probably my least favorite. I didn't really like the practice. I just liked going to the meets. But going into high school, my parents sat me down and said, it's time to focus on one sport and hopefully get a scholarship. And they saw something in me in running that I didn't quite see in myself yet, and persuaded me to focus on track going into high school. So I did it growing up, but I started taking it seriously going into high school by my parents' request.
Okay, well let's stay with your growing up and getting into actually being brought into track and field from your parents in Easton, Pennsylvania. Well, Pennsylvania in general, we know that much of the Northeast at their athletes that really love their track and field. But where you grew up, particularly in Easton, did a lot of kids participate in track and field, or was it other sports that they were involved in?
So at Easton, the high school or even like I started middle school in Easton. Elementary school was in Jersey, but middle school in Easton and even high school in Easton, it's a very athletic town. I wouldn't say that track is the most popular sport, but it is pretty popular. I would say football is up there and basketball, but a lot of athletes did get into running. I think mostly just to stay in shape for their main sport, though. So I think I would say once I started running at Easton and kind of making a name for it, it did become a little bit more popular. But it wasn't that popular of a sport.
Okay, well, let's stay with what you did during your high school career at Easton High School in Easton, Pennsylvania. You did very well. Matter of fact, in 2007, you won the Nike High School Nationals title in the 800 meters, and then also you had a personal best in 2008 at the Prefontaine Classic, where you had the second fastest time ever by an American high school athlete. And then you capped off your high school career by winning 2 awards. Not only did you win the Gatorade Girls High School Athlete of the Year, but you also won the Gatorade Girls High School Track and Field Athlete of the Year. So you had, in 2008 was a great year for you, capturing both awards. You had some tough competition within those categories. Did you ever see yourself winning those awards in track and field?
I think by my senior year, with how things were going, I had good hopes that I would win the Gatorade Track and Field Athlete of the Year. But in terms of winning the overall award, the Gatorade Player of the Year, this award is given to the best female high school athlete of any sport. That one I was like, I don't know if they're going to give this to me. They fly you out to the ESPY Awards and you see those other women and from the other sports that you're up against. The basketball player and the soccer player and the cross-country runner, and they're all phenomenal. And so when we were at the dinner and they announced me as the winner and Allison Felix handed me that trophy, my face was just like, wow, like that was definitely a surprise. So it's still a big highlight of my career.
And so after you completed your successful career in high school, you also did great things from an academic standpoint. You wound up earning a scholarship to the University of Tennessee to study journalism and electronic media. Was Tennessee your first choice of college to go to, or did you have offers from other schools?
Yeah, so I had a lot of offers from schools from all over the country, and I had a lot of interest, but my main question was, what coach is going to be able to get me under 2 minutes? Point, I was already at 2:01, and which was at the time faster than a lot of college women. And so I just, when these coaches were coming to my house and pitching their schools to me, that would be my question: what is your plan to develop me? Because I'm already pretty far along. And J.J. Clark at the University of Tennessee, he had an answer, and he had a plan, and he had proof from tons and tons of other women that he had already taken under 2 minutes that he could do it, that he was going to be the one to do it. So I felt comfortable heading out to Knoxville and being under his leadership. So it was a pretty easy choice for me with Tennessee. It made the most sense for me.
Normally, during that period of time when athletes or just college students in general prepare to either go to college or go into the military, normally it's a big transition in their life. Any culture shock going from Easton to Knoxville?
I wouldn't say it was much of a culture shock. The women on the University of Tennessee team, we were a very diverse team, and they immediately became my family. So that's what was. I'm very close to my family back home, and so being able to go there and feel like I had family away from home was really helpful for me. I would say the biggest shock for me came athletically, because here I was just named the Gatorade Player of the Year, and I'm 17 years old, moving away from home and trying to carry that pressure that comes with maintaining that level. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I had a lot of expectation from myself to go, and I wanted to win NCAAs as a freshman. I wanted to do all these crazy things, but I just put way too much pressure on myself, and I think that was the biggest shock for me in college. Was I just wasn't mentally ready, in my opinion. Looking back, I wasn't mentally ready for the amount of pressure that came with being the Gatorade Player of the Year. So.
Okay, well, that definitely comes a lot. See, a lot of people, when they see athletes, they normally think they kind of have it all together. But, sometimes if you can be physically ready, but if you're not mentally prepared, that can be just as damaging right there. But you definitely were able to make the most out of your time at the University of Tennessee. Matter of fact, I'm looking at you were a member of not only the track and field team, but you were also a member of the cross-country team as well. Did you have an opportunity to run some cross-country when you were in high school?
I did. My freshman year in high school, when the cross-country coach approached me, I was like, absolutely not, I'm not doing that. But by my sophomore year, she persuaded me that it would be helpful for the 800 if I did a little bit of cross country. So I decided to give it a try, and it was actually really fun. It was a break from the pressure that I had track. So cross country, I did do it my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and was actually pretty good at it. I think the best I got was third in the state my junior year. So I did do cross country, and JJ knew that, and so at Tennessee I was on the cross country team as well.
Okay, so during your time at the University of Tennessee, I'm just looking at some of your statistics right here. You were, in your sophomore year, you ran a few cross-country races, and then on the track, you were a runner-up in the 800 meters in the SEC Indoor Championships, where you set personal best. And then also you went on to win the SEC. And actually, in the 2011 indoor season, you won the SEC 800-meter title, and also in the distance medley relay, you placed sixth in that same competition. But also in that same year, you would go on to win the SEC outdoor title in the 800 meters. So definitely, you really, as you advanced, as the years went by during your time at Tennessee, you really improved your times, and also you started winning more titles. Did mental prep, as you mentioned earlier about mental preparation, did you preparing mentally, did that make a big difference in you achieving more on the track?
Yes, yes, definitely. As I got older and started working with a sports psychologist throughout my years at Tennessee, for that mental side, because like you said, you could be physically ready, but if you're a mental head case, it doesn't matter how fit you are. So JJ recognized that, I recognized that, and we really started to try to figure things out mentally. And as we got a grip of different mental strategies to work for me, I did start to win some titles. I think what I still was a little bit frustrated in college because I was winning the titles, but my time wasn't getting much faster, and I think that frustrated me the most throughout college, is that I just so desperately wanted to dip under 2 minutes, and so that was probably the most frustrating part, and also that I never. A lot of people don't know this, but I never won an NCAA 800-meter title. Which is something that I thought I was going to do my freshman year. So to walk away without ever winning a national title, that was pretty disappointing for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes. I mean, and I was going to mention, that was going to actually go into my next question. You mentioned that you never won an NCAA 800-meter title. But we know how competitive track and field is in the NCAA, but the SEC is a monster in its own right. Tennessee is in the same conference with LSU, Georgia, South Carolina. Also, there's Vanderbilt, there's Florida, and there's Alabama. So there are a ton of powerhouse schools in the SEC. We know about football, but track and field is no slouch in its own right. And also can't forget about Ole Miss and Mississippi State. So I'll ask you this question. During your time at Tennessee, who would you consider, in your opinion, who would you have considered to be your closest, toughest rivals?
Definitely LSU. Definitely LSU. We had Latavia Thomas, Charlene Lipsey, and so our conference meet, like you said, was almost just as hard as the national championship. LSU and Tennessee, we did not like each other when it came to the 800-meter. At the Penn relays, if it when it came down to the 4x8, we both teams desperately wanted to beat each other. We wanted to be known as the 800-meter powerhouse. So definitely LSU.
Yeah, it's a lot of talent right there come out of LSU every year. Names, as you mentioned, Latavia Thomas and also Charlene Lipsey and also Lolo Jones went to LSU, so certainly that's always a tough program right there. But you managed to do pretty well during your time at the University of Tennessee. You won 2 SEC titles in the 800 meters, and also you performed well academically. You were on the SEC Academic Honor Roll, and you were awarded a NCAA postgraduate scholarship in 2012. And as I said earlier, you studied journalism and electronic media. What was it about those two fields that attracted you to those areas?
Yeah, I've always loved to write, and so I figured doing something in the journalism side was a good fit for me. It was a really good school at the University of Tennessee, but that's always been an interest of, hey, I just love to write. So that's definitely what attracted me to that school.
Okay, so then after you earned your degree from the University of Tennessee, you decided to turn pro, and your first year as a professional track and field athlete, you finished second in the 2013 United States Indoor Track and Field Championships, and then you hit a best later that year, a season's best of, as you mentioned, your goal was to do 2 minutes, and you clocked in 2 minutes at the 2013 United States Outdoor Track and Field Championships. And also later in that year, you signed a contract with Nike. Now, I want to ask you, it's a lot of companies out there, but it's only so few advertising and so few athletes that get endorsement deals. How were you able to secure a contract with Nike?
So my first year out in 2013, when I ran that 2 minutes at the USA Outdoor Championship, I actually didn't. That 2 minutes wasn't even good enough for me to make the final that year of USA's. That's how stacked the 800-meter was in the USA that year. And I actually wanted to quit after that race. I remember I was just like, oh, I'm so over this. Maybe I am washed up. Maybe I am, everybody was kind of saying I was burnt out from how good I did in high school, and I was starting to believe that. But I decided to stick with it, and that following year in 2014 is when I won the indoor world championship, and that's actually when Nike approached me about signing me after I won that world title in Poland. That it took me to win worlds to kind of from the endorsement from the shoe companies, because a lot of companies did believe that maybe my glory days were over, because I had a really, really remarkable high school career and didn't really show. I mean, I was okay in college, but not to the level that a lot of people thought I would be. And then in 2013, when I didn't make the final at USA's, I think companies were kind of just done with me. So I knew that I had to do something special in 2014 if I wanted to get a shoe contract. And so I won the Indoor Worlds. That's what kind of sealed the deal for me. So everyone's journey looks a little bit different. A lot of athletes sign their senior year in college. After the NCAA meet, they'll get an agent and they'll talk to different shoe companies. But my senior year, to be honest, no companies were really interested. I came in third that year in the 800 at nationals. I think I ran 2:01. And that was the same time I ran 4 years ago in high school. So like I said, a lot of companies weren't really interested in me until I won that indoor title.
I want to stay with endorsement deals and track and field. Again, you have all of these shoe companies, and you have a lot of sporting goods stores, and even a lot of apparel lines as well. But there's so many athletes, but there's only so much money to go around for track and field. In terms of landing an endorsement deal, again, you said your situation was unique because it was a show and prove type thing, because you wound up winning the world indoor title in 2014. But how does a track and field athlete go about securing a contract? Does it go along in terms of your case of a show and prove type thing when you win a title, or do you have to have an agent to go and possibly court maybe a Nike or a shoe company or an apparel line? How does that work?
Yeah, I think the most common scenario is the agents are at the NCAA outdoor meet every year, and as soon as an athlete performs well and they are approached by an agent, and they're approached by many agents at that NCAA outdoor meet, and they don't have much time to really choose one. It happens so quickly. From what I hear, this wasn't my case, but from what I hear, you're approached, and 5 or 6 different agents are selling you do for you, and you have to pick one pretty much right away. And then once you pick one, that agent kind of shops you to all the different companies. So Nike, Adidas, New Balance, Puma, they shop you around, and they find what they feel is the best deal for you. They bring it back to you. You look it over with your trusted circle, your parents, your coach, whatever, and just like that, you're a pro athlete. So it usually happens, pretty quickly after the NCAA outdoor championships. Most likely you have to finish, first or second in your event at that outdoor national championships to even be looked at by agents. There are some cases where there's people who don't finish that high and still get contracts, but if most likely you have to finish first or second, and then an agent is pretty interested in you.
Okay, but that's interesting right there. Definitely, I've always been fascinated by the sport of track and field, particularly how endorsement deals are gained. We know about their superstars of the sport, but then what about the rest of the athletes that are trying to make, earn a living and being a professional? It's always interesting to me how that works, but I've always been curious to ask about that. So with you, I'm going to bring up the race, the 2014 IAAF World Indoor Championships in Sopot, Poland, where the race that you won, it got you your endorsement deal with Nike. You finished, you won the gold medal, became the 800-meter champion, and you actually you had a world-leading performance in that race. Just what was the preparation like leading up to that competition?
Yeah, I mean, 2014, like I said, in 2013, I really wanted to walk away, but I just decided to say, okay, just give it one more year, Chanelle. Let's see what you can do. And talking with JJ, we knew that I was going to have to do something special in order to earn a contract, and so we came up with a training plan that was going to allow me to not only make the indoor world team, but go for gold. And by that time, I think I was with JJ for, I think, 6 years, so I really trusted him. And, yeah, I mean, it was grueling training. We were really, really putting in some special sessions and just really getting after it. I was super focused. I knew what I had to do. That year, Indoor USA Championships, Ajay Wilson actually caught me at the line, but luckily two people made the team. So she won and I got second, and we went on to represent the USA at the Indoor Worlds. And to be honest, everyone thought that Ajay was going to be the one to bring home gold for America, and she unfortunately didn't make the final, and I did. So now, it's like, all right, Chanelle, now you got to bring home gold for America. But, I mean, that was already a goal of mine in the back of my head. So I didn't really let that pressure get to me. I knew what I had to do, and I just took the lead from the get-go because that's how I like to run, and kind of just played the catch-me-if-you-can type strategy. And, yeah, it was the preparation was grueling, but it paid off, obviously. So.
Well, it definitely indeed paid off because you wind up winning the gold medal in the 800 meters, and also 2014 continued to be a fantastic year for you. So you win the 800 meters, you get the contract with Nike, and then you are a member of the United States relay team at the 2014 IAAF World Relays in the Bahamas. And your teammate in the 4x100-meter relay team, you mentioned her earlier, Ajay Wilson. She was your teammate alongside Gina Gall and also Brenda Martinez. And you ladies wound up winning the gold medal in the 4x800-meter relay. We know the Bahamas. We know the rivalry is insane between the U.S. and the Bahamas in track and field, but what was it like preparing for this race, knowing Ajay is no slouch in her own right, and Gina and Brenda are respectful runners? So what was the anticipation like coming into this race?
Oh, man, we were pumped. I mean, you're taking four ladies that are usually rivalries, who are usually competing against each other, and we have this special opportunity to come together as teammates for the first time. And at that year, our biggest competition was Kenya. No one thought that we were going to be able to take Kenya down, and we were excited. We were excited to prove everyone wrong. We knew that we had an extremely strong team. They put me first and asked me to establish a lead, and that's what I did, and then the rest was history. It was a really, really special moment for us, the very first World Relays, and we were the underdogs. And I think that, like I said earlier, the most special thing was, I'm usually competing against these girls, so to be able to come together was a lot of fun. And the Bahamas puts on a fantastic meet, and yes, we're there to compete, but the coaches allow us to have some fun too. As long as we're ready to show up on race day, they allow us to go jet skiing and go to the water park and just enjoy ourselves. And so it's just a fantastic meet, probably one of my favorite meets I've ever been to.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, I'm looking at who you were up against in that race, man. Jamaica. Oh, man. I'm looking at Jamaica finished fifth in this race. So the U.S. finished in first place. Your team took home the gold medal. Kenya as you mentioned, as your rival. They came and won the silver medal, and then Russia finished third. So, and then you continued to be on a hot streak, and you returned to you returned to the Bahamas in 2015 in the IAAF World Relays, and you were a member of the 4x800 meter relay team, and you won the gold medal. And again, you were joined by teammates Maggie Vesey, also Molly Ludlow, and Alicia Montano. And this was interesting because Alicia did an amazing feat, and we're going to talk about that in one moment. But you talked about your experience with Ajay, Brenda, and Gina. What was this experience like in 2015, winning the gold?
This one was special too because it was, other than me, it was a completely different team. And so they were kind of looking at me for, like, advice, like, okay, you've been here before. You know, what do we have to expect? What's the experience like? So it felt kind of good. I think I was the youngest on the team, but I was there the year before. So to be able to share my insights and for them to trust me, that was cool. And again, they put me first leg and, you know, asked me to establish a lead, and then the rest was history after that again. So it was special to defend our title because now we weren't the underdogs. We were there. The target was on our back, and people didn't know if we were going to be able to handle that pressure, and we did. And it felt good to walk away with the gold with a completely different team this time. It was really special.
Indeed, it was special because, again, you came in, the United States won the gold, Poland finished second, and Australia finished third. Now, we know Jamaica, again, has always been a rival to the U.S. for years. They came in fifth, but Kenya finished in last place in this one. Did you expect Kenya to be in the top three, in the top five with the U.S. in this race?
Yeah, we were pretty shocked because we thought that you know, the year before we beat them, so we thought, okay, they're coming for us this year. You know, it's gonna be a fight to the end. So I'm not sure what happened there, but we were pretty shocked that Kenya was not.
I want to ask you about one of your teammates, Alicia Montano. She had a inspirational story where in 2014 she ran the majority of the track season pregnant. She came out there and, you know, made a bold statement, not just to women, but to the world that, yeah, I am pregnant, but I'm continuing to try to perform at a high level. And she came back the following year. She had her baby, and she came out with a vengeance and helping you guys out to win the gold medal. Was she somewhat of an inspirational leader to you guys on the team?
Oh, absolutely. Alicia is is definitely like a motherly figure to me. Is always there to just wipe my tears if I'm sad or celebrate with me if I'm happy. And she's just an inspiration to not just runners, but women in general. And just to be on that team with her was an honor, and we showed her that honor by putting her anchor leg because we trusted her to bring it home. No matter if she got the stick behind or ahead, we knew that, you know, she would do what she had to do to get that stick around in first place. So everyone on Team USA, not just the girls on the 4x8, we all have a very big respect for her, for what she stands for. She's vocal, she fights, and she doesn't just fight on the track, she fights for what she believes off the track as well. So I have a lot of respect for her.
Rightfully so, and definitely a lot of people have a lot of respect for her. And she was able, as you said, she was able to take it home and win the gold for you guys in the relays. And then also in that same year, you won the 800-meter title at the 2015 North America, Central American, and Caribbean Championships in San Jose, Costa Rica. And in 2017, at the IAAF World Relays, the places Nassau in the Bahamas, you win another gold medal in the 4x800-meter relay as a member of that team. And again, you mentioned one of your rivals, Charlene Lipsy. She's your teammate. And this time you've got another great runner in her own right, Krishuna Williams, and also Laura Rosler. What was that experience like?
This one was fun. In 2015, I was the youngest, but now in 2017, now I'm the oldest. And there's none of the girls had ran at the World Relays. Laura, Krishuna, or Charlene, this was their first time. So yeah, just to kind of be, I guess, the oldest one that they're looking up to. That was really cool. And again, to be first leg, just wanted to give Charlene, our anchor, the biggest lead possible. And so, yeah, they were a lot of fun. It was I think this one was the one I was most nervous for because we were such a young team. But I mean, I think this is the one we probably dominated the most. So yeah, that one shocked me. How the competition really wasn't able to hang with us that year. So that I would say none of the wins were easy, but that was probably our easiest victory as Team USA.
Okay, fair enough. And then, again, you and your team wound up winning the gold medal at the IAAF World Relays in 2017. Before we end this interview, you've always been very open about your faith and how faith is very important to you. How has faith carried you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think my before I found Christ, my identity was definitely, Chanelle Price, the track star, and that is okay when you're doing well. You feel very fulfilled. You feel on top of the world, and you feel high and mighty. But when your identity is in track and field and you're not doing well, it's very dangerous. You can get to a very, very low state of mind and almost not even really want to live anymore. And so when I found Christ and learned that, like, my identity is in Him and not my worth is not based off of how I perform in a track and field race, that was very liberating for me. Once I've developed my faith, track became fun again because I didn't put all that pressure on myself. But winning doesn't define me. And in terms of just my everyday life and what's going on around in the world, I honestly don't know how people are getting by without faith. I'd be going crazy right now if I didn't have that to cling to and just know just the promise that better days are ahead and things are going to turn around. It doesn't deny the fact that we are in some crazy times, but hope is a powerful thing, and so that's what keeps me going and allows me to be positive. Doesn't mean that everything's always rainbows and butterflies, but I still have hope even in the darkness. So yeah, faith is powerful, and it's definitely an anchor in my life. So thank you for asking that.
Oh, you're welcome, absolutely. And as they say, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And again, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us on the program. And before we let you go, Chanelle, just let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and if you have a website, let them know that as well.
Yes, absolutely. So my website is ChanellePrice.com, and you can also search me on Facebook with my full name, Chanelle Price. On Instagram, I'm C Price Run, the letter C Price Run, and then on Twitter, I'm C Price Run 7. So this was awesome. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it as well, and thank you once again. And you heard it from her. She's Chanelle Price. Chanelle, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. You're awesome as well.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel. Remember to click like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.